Alright, so we want to put out there for YouTube, disclaimer, YouTube, if you hear music in the background, we do not own the music. It's not our music and we are not playing the music. We just want to put out there for YouTube. YouTube copyright, things like that. The music in the background, we do not own the music and it is not our music. Disclaimer, it is not our music. We do not need the music and we don't want the music. We are not playing it. Alright? Alright? We don't care about the music. Alright? You got to understand that. Alright? So let's go right here again. Let's go in the book of Acts chapter 28. Acts 28, 26. All right, let's go to it. The book of Acts 28, 26. This is the book of Acts chapter 28 and verse 26. This is the book of Acts chapter 28 and verse 26 through 27. And it reads, saying, go to these people and say, hearing, ye shall hear. I read it early in the book of Isaiah, right? Hearing, ye shall hear, and shall not understand. And seeing, ye shall see, and not perceive. And that's what is happening to our people. That's what is happening to the so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Indian. Most of our people, they see, they do have eye to see. Do they don't see me here? They see me standing right here. But guess what? They don't have understanding. They don't understand that. Guess what? You know what? I got to listen to this brother. The brother is teaching the Bible. Let me listen for 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 10 minutes. Let me listen a little bit. Because I need this, man. They don't see. They're blind. They see the servant of the Most High. They see the brother and the sister on the highway, on the byway doing the work of the Most High. Guess what? They still don't see anything because they're blind. They're blind. They do have eyes to see. But spiritually, they're blind. This work that we're doing right here, it is a spiritual work. It is a spiritual battle. Our warfare is spiritual. It's not carnal. It's not physical. All right? That's why we don't need no weapon. We don't need no weapon. We don't need no gun. Right? We only need the word of the Most High. Our warfare is spiritual. It's not carnal. Right? We are not fighting anybody physically. That's not our job. Right? Our job is to be more spiritual. The keeping of the commandment of the Most High. We got to make sure that we're keeping the law, the commandment of the Most High every day, every minute, until the day that we're going to die. All right? You got to keep in mind. So our warfare is not carnal. Right? It is war spiritual. It's all with the Spirit. Right? The law and the commandment of the Most High. That's what we do. Let's go right here. This is the book of Acts chapter 28 and verse 27. For the heart of these people, it was gross. So as we can read, the Most High said the heart of these people, they don't understand the Bible. They don't. They don't understand the Bible. The Most High said the heart was gross. Gross. Our people, they're blind. They don't know what's going on. Their mind, they'll be given to war into a strong drug. The so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Indian, they are on strong drugs. This drug is called war Christianity. Christianity is a strong drug. Christianity is a strong wine that blind our people. It blind the so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Indian. That they don't know any better. It blind them. They blind our people in general. Overall, our people, they are blind. They hear, they do hear, but they have no understanding. Because the Most High blinds you. The Most High made your heart gross. For the heart of these people was gross, and the ears are dull of hearing, and the eyes have they closed, lest they should see with the eyes, and hear with the ears, and understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them. Isaiah chapter 6, verse 9 through 10. So the Most High, He does not want everybody to wake up. Why? Because the Most High, He knows your mind, He knows your heart. The Most High, He knows your mind and He knows your heart. So it's the Most High dealing with you. So keep in mind, the Most High blind our people. That's why our people, they caught up into all Christianity. They don't understand. It doesn't matter how many precepts you're going to bring out. They say we're teaching hate. That's why some of our people say, why? Because they lack wisdom. Because the Most High is not dealing with them. They think that they know God. Most of them, that's how they think. But in reality, they don't know God. They don't know the Most High, man. They don't know the Most High. The Pharisees, right back in those days, the Pharisees, they thought they know the Most High. The Pharisees, they thought they were doing well. Until Mashiach came. Until John the Baptist came, guess what? And they got exposed. The Pharisees, the scribes, the Sadducees, and they got exposed. The Most High exposed them. And that's what is going to happen to many of our people. Now, some brother might be in this truth, right? There might be some brother, right, where the brother, they think that they know it all. There might be some brother that have such spirit. But guess what? They don't know it, man. The Most High is not dealing with them. The Most High is not dealing with them. The Most High operate in a different manner. Different manner. Right? Let's read it. Let's go to bring another precept, right? We bring another precept. The book of Isaiah 42. Isaiah 42. Let's go to it. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 42. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 42. Right? Isaiah 42:19. Right? Let's read it. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 42 and verses 19. Isaiah 42 and verses 19. Salakia, right? This is the book of Isaiah chapter 42 and verses 19. Who is blind but my servant? The Most High says his servant, they're blind. Right? A lot of our people, like I say, they'll think like, well, you know, hey, I have this dream, I have this vision, all this. Hey, guess what? Hey, Satan, man, he's powerful. Satan, like the brother was bringing it out, Satan is powerful. You got to understand that. Right? Not that we worshiping Satan, but you got to keep in mind, man, Satan, he was dealing with the Pharisees and the Sadducees all the time. And the Sadducees and the Pharisees, what did they thought? They thought that they were doing well. They thought that they were doing wonderful work for the Most High. Until John the Baptist came on the scene. Until Mashiach came on the scene. Guess what? And they got exposed. You got to keep in mind. The Pharisees and the Sadducees, they thought that they know the whole Bible. They knew the law. They memorized the law. Right? They know the law in their mind. Guess what? They got exposed. All right? The Most High, that's why you got to be humble. Right? Let's read it. He said, who is blind by my servant, or deaf as my messenger that I sent, who is blind as he that is perfect, and blind as the Lord's servant, see many things, but thou observest not. So we see a lot of things, but we don't observe it. We see a lot of things, but we do not observe it. Our people, mainly the so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Indian, they see a lot of things, but they don't observe it. They see a lot of things, but they do not observe it, right? They see the judgment of the Most High. Our people, they see the judgment of the Most High, but they don't observe it. They don't observe it because they don't care. Because they're drunken right now. No, not alcohol, right? They're drunken on what? On the lie of the Christian church, the lie, the philosophy. The wine of the Christian church, all this lie, the TV, the politician, the list goes on and on and on. All right, let's read it. He said, see many things, but thou observest not. Opening the ears, but he heareth not. There we go. They don't hear, they don't have understanding. Right? They don't have understanding of the Most High. Right? Let's go right here. Let's go in the book of Ezekiel 33. Ezekiel 33, all right? Ezekiel 33. Ezekiel chapter 33. Let's go to it. All right? This is the book of Ezekiel chapter 33 and verses 32. All right? All right? Let's read 31 through 32. Let's read it. 31 through 32. He read Ezekiel chapter 33, 31 through 32. And they come unto thee as the people coming. Because most of our people, they go to the sun worship day. But they don't understand what the Most High say. They go to church yesterday. Some of them went to church yesterday. And then after that, guess what? Then when they celebrate with the son and the daughter, what? Pagan folly day or Halloween day, pagan day. They go supposedly into the church on sun worship day. And they sit before thee as my people. They act as if like they're down with the Most High. That's the spirit of our people. But they don't do what the Most High say. Okay? And they hear thy words, but they will not do them. They hear the words. Some of them, the brother be teaching them, keep the Shabbat. Do not celebrate Thanksgiving. Don't celebrate Halloween. Don't celebrate the pagan day of the dead. No, don't do those stuff. Guess what? They don't care. They say go ahead and do it. They say, well, it's for the children, for the family. No. Are your children above the Most High? Is your family above the Most High? No. So what are you talking about? All right? Just keep that in mind. Say, but they will not do them. For with their mouth, they show much love. That's the spirit of the so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Indians. Till this very last day, that's what they do. They use their mouth to deceive their own self. They say, Jesus, God, sweet baby Jesus, God, I'm Christian. No, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know. You're blind. You're blind, buddy. You're blind. Right? He said, for with their mouth, they show much love, but they have go after their covetousness. You see, you want to go after the car. You want to go after the money. You want to go after what? Your job. You want to go after what? Your own weakness. That's what the Most High said. The Most High said the mind or the heart of the so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Indian is always after what? They lost. They always lusting. They always lusting. Right? They lusting after this, after that, over and over. John 2 verse 32. And lo, thou art unto them as a very lovely song of one that a pleasing voice and can play well of an instrument. For they hear thy words, but they do them not. You see that? There we go, man. They hear about the word of the Most High. They see the brother teaching the word in the corner right here, but guess what? Rebellious Northern Kingdom, they will not hearken. They will not listen. Idolater Northern Kingdom, they will not listen. They will not hearken unto the Most High. Because they love idolatry. They love, like right now, we're speaking right now, they're celebrating what? The Day of the Dead. The Day of the Dead. Let's go right here. Let's go to the book of Mark chapter 4 verses 9. Mark chapter 4 and verses 9. This is the book of Mark chapter 4 and verses 9. This is the book of Mark chapter 4 and verses 9. This is the book of Mark chapter 4 and verses 9. And it reads, and he said unto them, he that hath ears to hear, let him hear. And when he was alone, they that were about him with the 12 asked of him the parable. And he said unto them, unto you it is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of Yahweh. So you got to understand, the understanding of the Bible, is not given to everybody, brother and sister. We got to keep that in mind. You can read the Bible all you want. If the Most High does not choose you to understand it, you will not understand it. Or if it's not the time the Most High wants you to understand, brother or sister, just be patient. You got to continue to please the Most High. You got to pray. You got to keep the commandment. You got to show more righteousness. Then the Most High will give you understanding. You got to be keeping the commandment. All right? Because keep in mind, for example, a lot of people, right? They are reading the book of Genesis, right? And he said that Adam and Eve, they were naked. Most people, mainly in the Christian church, they believe that Adam and Eve, they were literally naked. That's what they believe. That's what they believe. Most people, they believe that Adam and Eve, they were literally naked. That's what they believe in the Christian church. Guess what? But that's not true. Right? They were not literally butt naked. No. That was not the case. Right? They got garment on. They got a garment. Right? They got garment from the Most High. The Most High gave them garment. It's just that when they sin against the Most High stripped them off. The Most High stripped them off. If you sin against the Most High expose you. The Most High take away what? The glory. A lot of people don't understand that. Oh, they'll say that Adam and Eve, they ate what? The apple. No, that's a lie. They did not eat the apple. Okay? They did not eat the apple. It was not the apple that they ate. Understand? They did not eat apple. What do they eat? It tells you in the verses. When you go really tell you, what did they use? When the Most High removed the clothing from them, when the Most High took away the glory away from them, what did they do? They went and sewed unto themselves what? Figs leaves, the leaves of the fig tree. So what do they eat? The fruit they eat was the fig tree, the figs, the fruit that you call fig. That's what they had, that's what they ate, understand that? But a lot of people don't understand because the book of Genesis is not complete, you don't understand. You gotta remember that the Bible is a collection of what? Many books. The Bible that you see today is a collection of many books. Now, are all the book of the Bible, or are all the books written by our forefathers, are they found in the Bible? No. The same way you don't have, for example, the books in the Apocrypha, by the same way, guess what? There's so many books that our forefathers wrote. So many books. Now, what happened? The wicked Catholic Church, right, of Edom, what did they do? They sat down, right, and they removed a lot of books from the Bible. Talking about canonizing. They canonized some books, removed some. No, who are you? Who are you to touch the word that does not come from your lineage? It does not come from your forefather, but rather from the Most High. Who are you? That's Esau who operate like that. That's Esau, Edom. You got to keep in mind. Right? So you got to understand, the Bible is a collection of many books. And there is more books than you think. Right? There is more books than you think. You only think about the book that you see in your KJV Bible or in your NIV, whatever you got. Understand that, guess what? There's more books, more writing. The Most High just gave us what? A summary. The Most High, He gave us what? A summary, right? Of what happened in the beginning in the book of Genesis. It's just a summary. Not the whole things, man. If all the things that happened from the beginning, right, were to be compiled together in the books, we will not be able to carry. Just the works of Yahawashi Mashiach, no man will be able to carry the Bible. Just the works of Yahawashi Mashiach. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Right? He said that seeing they may see and not perceive, and hearing they may hear and not understand, lest at any time they should be converted and their sin should be forgiven them. You see that? There we go. So Mashiach said, listen, man, the Most High, He does not want them to understand. That's what happened to the Pharisees. It's happening to many of our people. Right? You got to keep in mind, the Most High will give you understanding if you humble yourself. If He is will. Don't be mad. Don't be in a rush. Don't do that. All right? Let's go in the book of Revelation chapter 13. Revelation 13 and 9. Revelation 13 and 9. This is the book of Revelation chapter 13 and verses 9. If any man have an ear, most men do have ear. Most men and women, we have ear. That's how you know that the scripture is not literally talking about your physical ear. It's talking about understanding. If you have understanding, do you have understanding of the word of the Most High? It's plain and simple. That's what the scripture is saying. If any man have an ear, let him hear. So if you have understanding, understand. Let's go to 2 and 7. Revelation 2 and 7. We're going to stay right there for a minute. This is the book of Revelation chapter 2 and verse 7. Revelation 2 and 7. And it reads, he that had an ear, let him hear what the Spirit said unto the churches. You see that? See what the Spirit, the law, the commandment, the Bible say, right? To the brother, to the Jews scattered, right? In the seven region, right? He said, he that had an ear, let him hear what the Spirit said unto the churches. There we go. Right? Let's jump right here. Revelation 2:11 and 2:17. Revelation 2:11 and 2:17. This is the book of Revelation chapter 2 and verses 11. He that had an ear, let him hear what the Spirit said unto the churches. Over and over. Over and over. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death. So you got to understand. Right? It's plain and simple. You have understanding. Understand what the Most High is saying. Verse 17. This is the book of Revelation chapter 2 and verse 17. He that had an ear, let him hear what the Spirit said unto the churches. To him that overcometh will I give to eat of the hidden manna, and will give him a white stone, and in the stone a new name written, which no man knoweth, saving he that receiveth. So you gotta understand. You have understanding, you will understand the Bible. If the Most High does not want you to understand the Bible, you will not understand the Bible. It's plain and simple. It's not complicated. It's plain and simple, right? So the Most High does not want everybody to understand the Bible. Verse 29. This is the book of Revelation, right? Revelation chapter 2 and verse 29. He that had an ear, let him hear what the Spirit said unto the churches. Again, if you have understanding, are you able to discern that said the Most High? The Most High said, the woman shall not wear that which pertain unto a man. Deuteronomy 22 and 5. Guess what? If you don't have understanding, you will argue. But if you have understanding, you know the Most High is talking about the paint. Very simple. Now if you don't have understanding, because the Most High know already your mind, your heart, guess what? The Most High will gross your mind. The Most High will gross your heart. It's plain and simple. Let's go in the book of Revelation chapter 3 and verse 6. This is the book of Revelation chapter 3 and verse 6. He that had an ear, let him hear what the Spirit said unto the churches. Again, he's not literally talking about ear, because everybody do have ear. But do they have understanding? Does everybody has understanding? No. Only few people have understanding. Only few people. Not everybody have understanding. No. Only few people. Understanding of the Bible. All right. Let's go right here. Let's go right here. This is the book of Revelation chapter 3 and verse 13 and verse 22. 13 and 22. This is the book of Revelation chapter 3 and verse 13. He that had an ear, let him hear what the Spirit said unto the churches. You see that? Again, man. Again, over and over. Understanding is not given to everybody. Not everybody will understand the Bible. Revelation 3:22. Revelation 3:22. There's the book of Revelation chapter 3 and verse 22. This is the book of Revelation chapter 3 and verse 22. And it reads, he that had an ear, let him hear what the Spirit said to the churches. Again, over and over. Right? So if you don't have understanding, you cannot understand the Bible. The Bible is not for everybody to understand. When you go to church every Sunday worship day, the Most High does not want you to understand the Bible. Because you got to humble yourself. You got to be born again. You got to learn the way of the Most High. It's plain and simple. Jeremiah 5:21. Jeremiah chapter 5 and verse 21. Jeremiah 5:21. Bear with me. This is the book of Jeremiah chapter 5 and verse 21. Jeremiah 5:21. And it reads, hear now these all foolish people, and without understanding. You see that? And without understanding. He said, and without understanding, which have eyes and see not. Our people that don't have eyes, but they don't see. They don't see. Right? He said, and see not. We have ears and hear not. There we go. The Most High said, hey, they do have ear, but no understanding. They hear. The Most High said, you can't eat swine flesh. Still, they go ahead and eat the swine flesh. The Most High said, you can't eat no abominable things. You can't eat no dog meat. Guess what? People say, you know what? It's good. Hey, I'm still going to go ahead and eat it. The Most High said, you can't eat no rabbit. Guess what? Rebellious people, blind, guess what they say? It's okay. We're going to eat it. Let's go in the book of Proverbs. Actually, Psalm 135. Psalm 135:17. Psalm 135 and verse 17. Psalm 135 and 17.